Hey, welcome to Hub Night. It's only been 2 weeks since we've met in this format, but I've missed it. However, last week was team night and that was great, and if you were there, you know how much fun we had. But I was thinking today that there's probably many of you, this is your very first Hub Night. Let me introduce myself. My name is Justin. My wife Jennifer and I have the honor of pastoring Vivid Church, and we're so proud of the people who are opening their lives and opening, I was going to say their homes, but really just opening their screens to host gatherings like this, that we might grow in community together and just make this determination that isolation doesn't have to mean loneliness. I want you to know that you're invited to be a part of everything we do as a church, not just Hubs. You can come join us on Sundays. We gather at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and 6 o'clock Pacific, and we also have a brand new service time at 4 p.m. Pacific, and it's subtitled and hosted in Spanish and Portuguese. If that would bless you or someone you know, bring them along. We're doing what we can in this season to reflect the light of Jesus' life for all to see. We also have a conference coming up June 27th. I couldn't be more excited. Get all the information from your hub leader. I'm so excited. Let me just say this, that it's free, and some of the greatest speakers and worship leaders on the planet are going to be a part of it, and it's really intended to inspire you in your faith. But if I keep talking about that stuff, I won't have time for Philippians, and I think Philippians deserves it. We've been in this book for weeks, and we're going to continue on it till the end of June. It's a letter called the Letter of Joy, written while Paul was in prison, in true lockdown, and he still resolves to have joy. 16 different times he talks about joy and rejoicing, because joy is a response to an understanding of the goodness of God, not just a recognition of our circumstances. And so today, I want to read to you out of Philippians chapter 2. We're going to start at verse 12. I know I've said it before, and I promise you I'll say it again, but this might be my favorite section of this book. Before I read it, let me tell you this. I believe that God wants you to be a star. For real. Maybe someone's told you that your desire for greatness was actually pride, or it was self-seeking in some way. I think it was actually God-given. He has intended for your life to shine. I know we can get a little obsessed in our time. We can get a little starstruck, so to speak, with pop stars and rock stars and sports stars and movie stars. We can get a little bit too locked into stars as a term of grading, like a gold star when you do well, or 5 stars when your Uber driver really crushes it, or 3 stars. Remember in that game Angry Birds? I was a 3-star guy. I was not about to pass a level with just 1 star. I had to go for 3. And sometimes we can just get starstruck, where we imagine that others are just great by nature, and somehow we're not great by nature, and so our chance to be incredible or to shine is missed. But the truth is that shining is actually nurtured. Do you know they did a study on kids, and based on what time of year they were born? You know, like if you're born December 31st here, you'd go to 1 grade, but if you were born on January 1st, you'd have to wait all the way to the end of the year. Well, they've done studies and found that those who are the oldest in their class have a disproportionate opportunity or likelihood to be great at sports. It's true. Not because there was just something in the water in January and February, but because those kids are the oldest, the tallest, the strongest, maybe the quickest to understand instruction given from teachers and coaches. And the theory is that they received more affirmation from day one than their classmates. And because of that affirmation, they rose to the occasion, and they responded to that affirmation with greatness. In context of that, let me read you this passage, and you'll see how it ties in. Philippians chapter 2, verse 12, it says, "Therefore, my dear friends, as you've always obeyed, not only in my presence, but now much more in my absence, continue to work out your salvation with fear and with trembling." Let me make this point, that we don't work to receive salvation. We work in response to our salvation. You see, God saved us simply because of His grace. But when we understand the affirmation and the love that comes from His grace, we desire to live up to that, just like those students who are the oldest in their class and actually live out greatness because they've received affirmation. There's a lot of people that are working hard to get the love of God, only to know this. You need to understand, God already loves you. He already accepts you. He already receives you. And that's actually motivating in itself. Instead of being motivated by a sense that you're not good enough, be motivated by this. You're incredible. You're a star, and Jesus has chosen you. See, this term fear and trembling, it gets us confused, and I know why. It sounds like we're supposed to be intimidated by God. It sounds like we're supposed to be anxious of failure, that we're supposed to be worried that we might miss the mark. There was one commentarian last name Lightfoot who said this: it's like having a nervous and trembling anxiety to do what is right. I don't know about you, I don't want to live in nervousness and anxiety. So what does the Bible mean about fear and trembling? Well, here I think maybe the best way to describe it, do you remember when you're driving? Have you ever had when you're driving and you're a little bit tired, and as you're driving you sort of just begin to get into that mode, that sleepy place? You know what I'm talking about? It's like a warm day and the road is kind of rocking you to sleep. It's moments like that where you become very aware very quickly. That could have been really bad. I think that's what fear and trembling in this context feels like. Where God is saying this: don't just coast because you're saved. Don't just coast because you're loved and chosen, but actually live alert and understand that where your life ends up matters to God. That He saved you, and that salvation was a free gift, and so we should care what happens to our life because God truly cares. Verse 13, it says this. It says, for it is God who works in you to will and to act in order to fulfill His good will. This word will, it comes from the Greek word thelo, which means to desire or to take delight in. God desires and has delight about your future. And the plan that He has for your future is not just His will, it's not just His desire or His plan, it's also His energy. That's right, it says He wills and acts. That word acts, it comes from a Greek word energio. What do you think it might mean? Yeah, it means energy. In other words, God, He's like, you're like a light bulb, and this light bulb, though it has the capacity, the potential to produce, 520 lumens. It has the capacity to do that, but only when it is connected to its source. In the same way, God says, I have a plan for you that has the ability to shine bright, but I also provide the energy for you to live in that plan. How freeing is that? God has a plan for your life, and He will give you the energy to fulfill the plan for your life. And that plan that He has for your life, that He will provide the energy for, it leads to what it said here, His good purpose. Now this is maybe the favorite word here. It's this Greek word eudokia. Yeah, you won't want to say that 5 times fast. Eudokia, 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 eudokia. I got 3 stars. Okay, eudokia, it means this. It means a desire or a pleasure for something that is absent right now. Here's what it means. God thinks of your future. He thinks of my future, and He gets excited. He's excited and has pleasure about the future that is in store for us, even though it's absent right now. And so He gives us a plan, and then He gives us the energy to live in that plan. Man, this is amazing. God is truly sufficient. He goes, you're my son, you're my daughter, I loved you, and I've saved you. So I want you to care about where your life ends up. Don't live for mediocrity. Don't live for good enough. Good enough is not just good enough. Don't just coast through life. No. I've got a plan for you. When I stop and think about it, I get excited. And I'm excited. I want you to be excited about that plan. And I want you to know that I will give you the energy to live in that plan. That means this, that if God has a will for your life or a purpose for your life, He will also supply everything you need to get there. Everything you need to accomplish that plan or to live in the fullness of that plan. Then it says this, verse 14. It says, so do everything without grumbling or arguing. Hold up. How did we get to grumbling and arguing? How did we go from God's awesome plan for our life that gives Him pleasure? And it's a crazy thought to imagine that the happiest being in the universe, the one who holds the universe in His hands, actually smiles when He thinks of my future and your future. It's incredible. How is that the next comment is about complaining? See, Paul says this: if we get a grip, if we understand the good things God is taking us to and the energy He's providing and the pleasure He has, why would we ever grumble and complain? It's possible to do the right thing and not want to do it. This doesn't happen very often, but sometimes, only sometimes, when I ask my kids to do something, I know they're obeying, but they don't really want to. And I'm saying that right now because one of my kids is holding this camera, but she's doing it with a big smile on her face. You see, there's a difference doing the thing that you're asked to do because you have to, and then doing it with a joyful heart. And here Paul says this, don't get this wrong. God is not piling more work on you. He's inviting you to enjoy the journey with him. He has a destination that brings him joy. He'll give the energy for you to get there. He's going to guide you in the way. And he doesn't want you to just be digging in your heels and along for the ride, but actually to engage in everything you do without complaining or arguing. You know, for some, I think we have a pandemic of complaining, and there's no vaccine for it. We have this absolute virus of grumbling, and there's no therapy for it. We live looking for the most negative results around us, and here Paul is inviting us to engage in what we do with joy. Why? He says, so that you may become blameless and pure children of God without fault in a warped generation, and then you will shine among them like stars in the sky. You see, God is saying this, your life will shine bright if you can simply do what everyone else is doing, but do it without grumbling. If you can engage in the season that you're in with joy, you're going to shine. If you can do the things that are required of you that everyone has to do, like going to work and taking care of your responsibilities and doing the right thing, all those things, if you can do those things without complaining, without a begrudging heart, your life will actually shine. There is a motivation to it. God sees you as a star. He wants your life to shine bright, that you can inspire other people. I was looking recently at the different halls of fame. It's amazing how we as people, we like to shine a light on greatness. For some of you have been watching this Michael Jordan documentary and you've seen greatness, but there's other halls of fame. There's a New Zealand horse racing hall of fame, not to be confused with the New Zealand horse trotting hall of fame. Different halls of fame somehow. There's a robot hall of fame. R2-D2 was one of the first inductees. There's a Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame. There's a North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. And then there's just a Cowboy Hall of Fame because it's bigger than Texas or North Dakota. There's actually an Insurance Hall of Fame, a Cricket Hall of Fame, a Billiards Hall of Fame, a Karate Hall of Fame, a Curling Hall of Fame. There's even a Roadkill Hall of Fame. Like, we've got this thing in our culture about wanting to shine a light on greatness, and meanwhile God is saying, I want to shine a light on your life. And it begins with doing everything you do without grumbling and without complaining. For some of you, like, okay, Pastor Justin, are you saying that like my shift work and the weather and the government and the restrictions right now and my spouse and my kids and the church and programs and society and art, like I should engage in all of these things without complaining? Yep. Because the Bible says whatever you do it without complaining. I want you to think, what do I have to do this week? What are some of the things that I have to get done this week? This week, make it your determination. I'm going to do each one of those things with joy. Don't be known just for your skills. Don't be known just for your complaining. Be known for the light that you shine. And the amazing thing about this is that it's not your job any more than it would be the job of this light bulb to produce light. It's your job to reflect that light. And so be the type of mirror that reflects God's light with clarity. Be the type of mirror that can reflect God without any blemish in this crooked generation, that people would see something so beautiful and pure in your life. Respond to the affirmation that's already come in salvation and just say, I am going to do everything I do with joy flowing from the bottom of my heart, because God has a plan for me that brings Him pleasure, and He's going to give me the energy to do it. So I'm not going to fall asleep at the wheel of my life. I'm going to be alert, and I'm going to be looking for every opportunity that I might shine. I believe you got this in you. You're an all-star. I love you so much. Let me pray for you and then release you to have discussion. Jesus, thank you for every one of these stars who's watching tonight. I thank you that you're searching for stars just like us. And I ask that in our life, in the really simple things we do, that we could engage in the world around us without complaining, without grumbling, without arguing. We know that you've got a plan for us, this eudokia, this good pleasure for what isn't even yet, a plan of what you want to see for us on the other side of this pandemic, a plan of what you want to see in our career, in our life, in our family. And I pray that we would not miss that mark by just being asleep at the wheel of our life, but we truly would engage in the energy you provide, doing everything we have with all our heart. In your name we pray, amen. Love you guys. We'll see you next week.